And city leaders behaving badly, accusations they were unmasked and unfiltered at a local business.
Mayor Vi-Lyles and a group of city council members, including Larken-Egleston, Julie-eiselt, Malcom-Graham, and Tariq-Bokhari, having to be reminded multiple times while at Hatties to wear a mask while they were up and moving around the space. Queen City Nerve publisher Justin-Lafrancois was at the bar the same time the group of city leaders was last night. He says bar staff and the owner had to repeatedly ask the group to wear their masks. And one councilman, Tariq-Bokhari, is also accused of making demeaning jokes about the atmosphere.
I think more so I was just disappointed with how they were making fun of us and the customers and my staff and making a lot of jokes, and that just kind of hurt my feelings.
To see our elected officials abuse it, essentially, with blatant disregard to the rules, made me so disappointed.
Charlotte voters have been weighing in on social media for almost 24 hours now, saying things like, I've never walked into an establishment after getting out of my car and forgot to put on my mask, or this behavior is insane, or very disappointing. So our question of the night, what do you think? Is the council's behavior fine or frustrating? Here's your panel. WCCB News at 10 anchor Drew-bollea live in Uptown, and WCCB News reporter Alex-Elich also live in Uptown. Drew, you covered this for us today during the 10 o'clock news. You had a chance to talk with Justin-Lafrancois, and you also talked with Jackie, the owner of Hatties. And it seemed, you know, from your reporting that Jackie was most upset about the tone of the night and not necessarily the reminders to put on the masks, not as big of a deal to her, but the way she was made to feel.
Yeah, and it sounds like the way that she characterized it is, you know, people hadn't been able to go out to bars for 7 months. These folks were able to go out to a bar and may have let a little too loose from the vantage point as she saw it. I think this is a really big missed opportunity here, because you do have an A for effort with the council wanting to patronize a local bar that had been shut down for 7 months, opened a few days ago, try and give them some positive business and some positive press. And instead we have the complete opposite, where we're having reports from eyewitnesses there saying, you know, they weren't wearing masks and having to be reminded to wear masks when walking about the restaurant or when entering and leaving, or excuse me, the bar, when entering or leaving. And then you have the owner saying that she's hearing disparaging comments and jokes being made about her regular clientele and just the atmosphere of the dive bar that it is. And so she was very disappointed in both of those things taking place, as were some of the people who were in attendance there. And so I truly do think that this is just a missed opportunity where there could have been some real positive things that came out of this, and instead we're talking about the lack of forward showing of mask wearing and just being, you know, decency from our elected leaders.
Alex, one of the things that Justin-Lafrancois reported when he started tweeting about this, and it sort of took off last night, was that Jackie, the owner of Hatties, had also heard somebody in the city leadership group make the comment when she went over to remind them to put their masks on, oh, don't worry, we know CMPD. And she said, put the mask on, you know, I'm actually worried about ALE coming as well. Oh, we know them too. And Jackie sort of bristled at that, like, not looking for, you know, the people who are in cahoots to get around the laws, just looking for you to do what I'm asking you to do. Haven't heard anything on that front today, but I'd be interested to know what the group has to say about those comments as well, because that really sort of gets to the crux of a bigger issue in our community about the trust of the public with our community leaders and our police department. What do you make of all of this, Alex? You interact with city council on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And I apologize, a car just zoomed behind, so I missed the last of what you were just saying. But I think this whole situation is incredibly frustrating. And to your point, Morgan, I've interviewed the mayor, pretty much all of the elected officials who were there. And I think especially lately, what I'm hearing from community members as well is there just is a lack of trust, lack of transparency from the community and the city. And this could be one element of it as well. And I spoke to Jackie earlier this week, and she was saying that this weekend was exhausting. They've been dying to open up for months. So to be treated and her to feel like the way she did, my heart goes out to her. And when it comes down to it, elected officials are held to a higher standard. They are the role models of our city. And for lack of a better term, saying, oh, we know people here and there, I mean, sounds like an abuse of power, essentially. And I think when you're a public figure, again, or an elected leader, you should wear your mask if that's something that you are touting. I mean, there's no one around in this ballpark, and I have my mask right here. My photographer is 6 feet away from me. He's wearing his mask right now. It's just to set the precedent, because you are, again, a leader in the city, and you need to be a role model and be an example no matter where you are in your public life or your personal life.
Well said, both of you guys. There's more Edge on the way. Puppy love.